Hey guys, how you doing? It is. Let me make a minor adjustment here. There we go. May 28th, 2020. This is the news. This is the news that you're probably going to be talking about today. And we're going to continue with the George Floyd incident. Mr. Floyd, who was murdered by Minneapolis police. Two officers in particular, Derek Chauvin and Tal Thao, who actually, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Tal Thao. He has had a history of abuse, apparently. The I Can't Breathe movement has continued. And there were riots in Minneapolis. There were problems in cities around the country, and I was watching this on TV, and I heard a newscaster say, "Why are they doing this to the LAPD? It was the Minneapolis police." And I thought about that, and I didn't even have to think about it. I was like, "Are you kidding? If you think the LAPD is not involved in all this, you're not paying attention. This happens everywhere. LAPD has a brutal history. I can't tell you how many times. I should make a disclaimer. I'm not African American. I'm certainly not white. Unfortunately, I fall in between white and Hispanic. When I was a kid, all the children called me a spick. But when I visited Dominican Republic, they all called me gringo. So I sort of fell in between. But even me, I mean, I realize it's worse for African Americans and people of color. But even me, I've been abused by LAPD so many times, I can't even count. I can go back 30 years. I can certainly go back 20 years right now. I can say, oh yeah, that time I was in Venice Beach, and this was in 2001, right after my accident. I think it was in April. I was hit by a car in February of 2001. I think this was April. I was walking with crutches, and an officer, the police declared Venice Beach an unlawful assembly. Can you imagine Venice Beach on a warm day, an unlawful assembly? And while I was walking away on crutches, a police officer shoved me in the back to the ground. Or how about that time that a police officer pulled me over to give me a ticket about something that I didn't do. And I argued with him, and he said, quote, "Dude, I can give you a ticket for anything I choose and they'll believe me." This was Hollywood. This was Hollywood Division in Los Angeles. This was the Hollywood Division who said this. And of course, there was that time I was arrested by, and I'm going to call those MFs out, the Buena Park Police for grand theft auto. I was thrown in jail. I was in jail for weeks. I had to fight it in court for years. And it turned out they were withholding evidence. Actual videotape of the crime, and they knew all along it wasn't me. The case was dismissed for furtherance of justice, which is like without prejudice. It's similar. With prejudice. And the judge was angry. Boy, let me tell you how angry that judge was when this happened. And you know what? I still have problems with that arrest showing up in my records because of corrupt police. This is systemic. They need to fire everyone and retrain everyone. Everybody should go through retraining in LAPD, and any police force. There needs to be some change, immediate change, for African Americans, for Hispanic, for Asian, and for people like me, who most people, I guess, consider I'm white, but I fall under Hispanic. Anyway, so here in Los Angeles, there was damage to a police car. It wasn't as bad as in Minneapolis, where there were fires set and riots, and it's just going to get worse for a few days. I mean, once those police officers are in custody, it should abate a little bit. It should get a little bit better, I suppose. I don't know why it should. I mean, it just seems to continue no matter what happens. And you hear about new things every day. And you're like, oh, come on, guys. Can we just stop with this already? Can you just bring on your latent prosopagnosia? That's face blindness. Bring on your latent socio-emotional agnosia, where you can't really tell what people are about. Just ignore everything. Oh, God. I'm just really disgusted with this. Unemployment numbers are in. More unemployment numbers. 2.1 million was added to the for a total of 41 million. Plus there's the not counted unemployed and the not counted unemployed for gig workers, which is like 8 million. So we're talking 55 million, which is about, about a sixth of the population, of the U.S. population. Of the working population, it's probably about a third of the working population. And still people can't collect unemployment, and there's still people, hundreds of thousands at least, who have not gotten a stimulus, and it's impossible to reach the IRS. It's impossible to reach the unemployment office. Nobody is able to get anything. I mean, there's a few people that are just living off of unemployment, but there's many people who have not been able to get the system to work for them. And the evictions that are going to be coming from this are going to be staggering. Houston, I think I said in the last broadcast, they've already started evicting. And it's going to start happening all over the country. And the homeless population under Donald Trump is probably going to quintuple because of what he did. Oddly, this flattening of the curve of the coronavirus that's causing all this damage is just going to make it stick around longer. It's hard to figure out what we should be doing. Now, we should move on to the Twitter wars continuing between Donald Trump and Twitter, and now Facebook is involved. Mark Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg questioned the new proposed rules. I mean, Zuckerberg has not been doing a good job with his social media, this social media giant of his. And neither has Twitter. Twitter has been squelching voices, including mine, of legitimate problems. And the fact that Donald Trump is saying things, I can't believe that I had a YouTube video pulled down by YouTube, and Donald Trump only gets a little warning. Anyway, Yeah, Zuckerberg questioned the new proposed rules. And as I said, Donald Trump threatening social media, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. Name anybody. Any. There's so much social media out there. I can probably go on for weeks with a dictatorial statement saying, "Okay, we're gonna go to your private companies and regulate you." This is literally what a dictator says. This is literally what Hong Kong is doing. Excuse me, China is doing to Hong Kong. I don't know. As I said before, Russia controls its social media companies. China controls its social media companies. North Korea controls its social media companies. Iran controls its social media companies. Burma, it's not Burma. What is it now? I don't know. You know what? These totalitarian countries are who control their social media. Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. He wants totalitarian power. He can't have it. And if you're not calling your congressman about this, then you're part of the problem. Just thought I'd point that out real quick. As I said, Hong Kong and China are again at odds. China wants to violate its agreement that allowed Hong Kong to remain autonomous. And I could be getting this number right. I think 3 pro-Hong Kong legislatures were dragged from the chamber by Chinese officials. And the only thing we can do about it is to change trade status with Hong Kong. Maybe push some sanctions, but that hurts the people that are trying to get out from under the thumb of China. So it's a tough place to be right now. So it turns out antibody tests are still coming under question for their the amount that's actually getting it right. I mean, 50% of them are wrong. I went to get an antibody test, and it showed it negative. I'm pretty sure most who say negative are correct. It's the ones that say positive that can be 50% wrong. And that's kind of scary because we really need them. What I want is, and I've been asking for this for months. I've been asking for a convalescent plasma injection. That's where somebody has gotten the coronavirus. I've asked my friend to actually go get tested because I think he had it. And I said, donate some plasma. I want it. I want it injected in my arm so I can get some power to battle this thing if I get it, because there's no other way other than actually getting it. That's for sure right now. And I don't know why convalescent plasma hasn't been like the number one priority. Everybody who has survived the pandemic should be donating plasma so others can have the resistance to the disease. And then those people, after a few weeks, should donate plasma so other people can have the resistance to the disease. We could wipe this out in a couple of months. But as it is, we're stuck here until 2022, likely. That's about how long these things last. I mean, the Spanish flu lasted until 2020. The official end date was December of 2020. I believe spring of 2020 was pretty bad. 2019 was bad. Late 2018 was horrible. I'm sorry, I said 20. 1918, 1919, 1920. Oh, man. Okay, so Elon Musk, of course, his SpaceX Falcon 9 heavy rocket launch was scrubbed 17 minutes before launch. I told you that the weather was not all that good yesterday. I honestly didn't expect it, and I'm glad they scrubbed it. We don't need another accident. We don't need another accident. I remember the last one. The next launch window is going to be on Saturday. I don't understand the launch window thing because I know that the space station orbits the Earth. How many times is it? Every 90 minutes, which is a bunch of times every day. So I don't understand why the launch window is Saturday. I assume they could go another day, but I don't know. I don't understand the actual orbit. So maybe the orbit is not in the same place each orbit, and maybe that's why they have to wait until Saturday, even though the space station orbits every 90 minutes. Which is really fast if you think about it. I mean, 24,000 miles is the circumference of the Earth, and you have to add the distance from the Earth's surface to add to that circumference, which I have no idea. Is that going to be 35,000? Is it going to be? No, it might be more. It might be like 50,000 miles every 90 minutes. I mean, that's pretty quick. I was doing some thoughts on speed and relative speed rather yesterday. We won't get into that, I suppose. Now, larger cities like Los Angeles, here in Los Angeles, are a little bit slower in opening because we have a higher population. There's more chance of the coronavirus having a second peak or a third peak or a fourth peak because we're going to be dealing with this for a couple of years. Restaurants still aren't open, presumably because, I mean, it's kind of difficult to eat when you're wearing a mask. So everything else is open with restrictions. Churches, 25% of capacity. I'm assuming we could do the same thing with the restaurants, 25% of capacity. But the restaurants that are surviving are doing an okay job. They're getting about, I've heard 40% of their what they were making previously. I know some restaurants that have always been to-go restaurants that are making a killing right now. So some people are making it, but I know some are suffering. Some are dying. These restaurants are just, they're not going to make it, and it's really sad. We're going to have empty places all over the place in a couple of years. And we're going to have to start all over again. We're going to be seeing a lot of mom and pops in a couple of years, I think. Hopefully, we'll have some people that survive. Now let's talk about Jack Rico. You don't know who Jack Rico is. He graduated recently from Fullerton Community College with 4 associate's degree. And that's pretty good. It's in community college. I mean, it's no big deal. It's not like it's Stanford or whatever, or Harvard or Yale. Anyway, but what makes Jack a little different is he's only 13 years old. I'm pretty impressed with that. But, as I said, it's only community college. Better than I would have done at that age. And he's got 4 associate's degree. But let's just face facts. Going to college doesn't mean you're smart. He wants to be a screenwriter. And let me tell you right now, Jack Rico, me and you, let's just talk. I'm a screenwriter. Do you see me sitting in front of a typewriter right now? No. You know why? Because you have to have connections in the industry. That's how you make it in screenwriting in Hollywood. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And there's a saying that goes on from that. It's not even who you know, it's who you, well, we won't say what it says. So, Jack, go get your doctorate. Become a nice medical doctor. Become something else. Do screenwriting on the side. Look at Ken, what's his name? That comedian. Ken, I can't think of his name. He's a doctor. And he's a comedian. And he's had his own TV show where he played a doctor. You could do that. Anyway, don't go straight into screenwriting. As much as that would be nice, it's really, really difficult, and the market is flooded. So, and you know what? I have a feeling Jack Rico would have had a little bit of trouble graduating if he was taking classes during the lockdown. This has been a problem. And it hasn't been a problem that's new with the coronavirus. It's really not. I mean, all these colleges are trying to teach cheaper by offering online courses. There are some people who cannot learn online. This is really, really bad. And it's fine to offer online courses as long as you also offer them in-person courses, on-campus in-person courses. A couple of years ago, I was taking some computer courses because I wanted to, learn coding, update my profile, I suppose. And I took the first couple of classes, and then I went to sign up for the rest. Nothing. The required course load was not given on campus. This was at LACC. By the way, that dean sucks. Excuse my language. I think I can say sucks. So, there's a couple of things going on over there that I probably shouldn't talk about because I'd get in trouble for talking about it. But anyway, I am one of those people that cannot learn online. I need to be in the classroom. I need to interact with the professor. So I stopped taking classes. And this is a problem. This is a problem for a lot of people. A lot of people who cannot learn online and need to be in the classroom. This coronavirus has really put an exclamation point on that statement because it's caused a lot of problems. There's a lot of students that are falling behind. In college, there were actually lawsuits. There's actually lawsuits in college where these students do not want to pay for online classes. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. They may not learn as much. Until it can be done, online can be done, and it is almost identical to in-person, like a virtual reality setting maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It can't be done. It's not fair. There's a lot of people that will be falling behind because they don't learn that way. And colleges need to stop thinking with that bulge in their pants made by their wallets and start thinking about people as people. They're not all the same. They can't do it all the same. And there are some students that excel in online learning. I know of one who graduated high school with honors online, doing it online. So there are some people who excel that way, but most do not, and that's a problem. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed my news. It was a slow news day compared to yesterday, but tomorrow, maybe we'll have more. I'm Peter Lawrence, reporting from Los Angeles.